Hello, Shannon.
Hi, how are
How
you?
are you? I'm good.
Good.
Good. Great.
Fantastic. Awesome. We've
Love
already
the
got some
flag
people
behind you.
signing up. Oh, thanks. That's the chevron flag.
Wow, it's beautiful.
So it's
I think I've never
inclusive.
seen that one before, but
Yeah, that got
yeah.
revealed in like 2017. It's all inclusive LGBT. So those are the pride colors there. And then the black is for people's lives lost to HIV, the brown's for people of color. And then the pink, blue, and white is for trans individuals.
Wow, that's so beautiful.
I
So,
like what's behind you too. Is that like a rug or a curtain or
oh yeah, it's the curtain.
is a curtain? Okay. Do you know
Yeah.
I have a lot of connections with people from India. I think probably about 40% of my connections are from people from India.
Wow, that's so cool. I mean, have you ever visited India before?
No, but I really want to. I want to come where they throw those colors
Holy,
on you.
yeah, that's super fun.
Can you
Wow.
hear me okay?
Yeah, you're perfect. What about me?
Okay. Yeah, I can hear you fine.
That's great. That's great. So, what have you been up to lately?
Really busy. Oh, great. I got the thumbs up from Bully Watif. I'm probably not going to pronounce the names correctly. So,
Of course, we all have that problem.
oh, yeah,
That
it's
makes us
okay.
unique. Yeah,
Yes, it does. It does. And I love that you don't change the name or Americanize the name just because we have trouble, with the pronunciation. We need to learn how to pronounce it instead of changing it to John or Sammy or something like that.
absolutely. That's very true.
So tell me about this Youth International Organization for Peace. Tell me a little bit more about it.
Oh, so we started back in January of this year, and it's a really funny story because we never knew anyone from this organization before in person. So it was this person called Osama from Egypt. He started everything and he started connecting with people from different countries through Instagram and through other social media platforms. And at the beginning, it just sounded really like weird because someone just approaches you on a social media network and they say something serious about peace, sustainability, and everything. So it was kind of weird at the beginning, but uh, we're in a great place today. We have more than 60 members throughout the world. A lot of countries: Macedonia, Bahrain, Qatar, USA, Brazil, Colombia, India, Indonesia. The list just keeps growing, and we've made so many beautiful connections with different people from different parts of the world. And our prime motive is to educate youngsters and to create a conversation where we can find solutions to all the problems that we have in the world right now.
Mm-hmm. Wow. What's the mission of the organization?
Oh, that's a great question. So we tirelessly pursue to bring youngsters from all over the world together through different platforms, not just through a website or a forum, but in all the social platforms that youngsters use today, because that's where the conversation happens a lot these days. And yeah, we just want to build generations of youth with integrity, making the world a happier, cleaner, and better place to live in for all of us.
Oh, I love that. That's exactly what I'm going to be talking about today, you know?
Well, that's
So
brilliant.
I think it
We
aligns with your mission very well.
That's just so perfect. And well, I think it's a couple of minutes past 7:30 now. And
Okay, is it 7:30 p.m. in India
yes, oh yes,
on a Saturday?
absolutely. Yes, exactly.
Oh, okay, so they're still up.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Right now, because of the pandemic, we just lose track of the days,
Oh,
weekends or
yeah.
weekdays. They all seem to be the same.
Are you all locked in? Because some countries are like completely locked in. Like one of my friends, she's from Colombia. You can't go out without a pass. You can only go out a certain number of times to the grocery store, and you have to have a pass.
Um, it used to be somewhat like that, but they're slowly opening up everything right
Yeah,
now.
that's
Yeah.
here in New York.
Oh, you're from New York. Wow.
Yes, I would
Yeah.
love if people would activate their cameras and put themselves on mute, because I know I'm going to see some beautiful faces. Editunbi, I love your, I don't know what that's called, but I really like it. And this too, that's beautiful. Maybe people are a little bit shy to show their face, but I would love to.
No?
It just helps me to, yeah, Sathya. I'm sorry, I know I mispronounced the names. Ahmad is walking somewhere out in somewhere. Eduardo, hello.
Yeah.
Hi, thank you all. Still have a few more people who haven't
Hi, ma'am.
activated their camera. Hello, hello, Sathya. You wanna, well, it's 10:05. What do you wanna do?
Okay, I think we should get started by now. So here we go.
All right.
Hello to everyone who tuned in today. I am Aswin Raghav Rengarajan, the Vice President of the International Youth Organization for Peace and Sustainability. At IYOPS, we intend to educate and empower youths all over the globe to find and implement solutions for the pressing issues that we face in our day-to-day life. On our fourth edition of the Leadership and Mentorship Forum of IYOPS, we will be talking on the topic, Becoming a Person of Influence. And our speaker for today will be Shannon Whittington. And let me introduce her a bit. Shannon is an RN, MSN, CCM, LGBTQ plus health certified. She's also a published author and certified speaker with the John Maxwell team. Her areas of expertise include LGBTQ plus, diversity and inclusion, and servant-based leadership. Shannon has a passion for transgender health, and she educates clinicians in gender-affirming surgery. Shannon was greatly honored to receive the Quality and Innovation Award from the Home Care Association of New York for her work with the transgender population. She recently was also awarded the Notable LGBTQ plus Leaders and Executives Award by King's New York Business. She is a city and state lobbyist for transgender rights and a vocal advocate for equality of care. To date, she has presented virtually and in person at various organizations and conferences across the US, delivering extremely well-received presentations on leadership, transgender health, and LGBTQ plus inclusion. It is such a pleasure to have you here today, Shannon. Thank you for accepting our invitation.
Oh, thank you. I am delighted to be here today. I just will ask you all to put yourself on mute for a while, just while I'm talking. And please activate your cameras so I can see you all. And then I'm going to go into sharing my screen. Oh, it says you've disabled my screen sharing. So you want to enable that so I can get to my presentation?
Yes, just a second.
Okay. I'm happy that you all are joining in today. Ahmad, can you put yourself on mute? I see Redmi
I'll
is,
make you the host right now.
okay. All right, so let me try again. All right, let's try again here.
And I'd also like to say one thing. As we go
Okay,
about our presentation today, please feel free to type in your questions on the chat box. We will address it at the end.
yeah, that's a good suggestion. Because I'm going to be asking you some questions, and you can All right, here we go. Let me just move this over again. All right, so today we're going to be talking about becoming a person of influence. And I don't know about like where you are, but in America, this is everything. Everyone's talking about being an influencer and how they're influencing others. And I thought this would be a great topic for you young people, because if you're on different platforms, you're probably influencing people in one way or the other. Now, Aswin, if we get frozen or something like that, I should probably put my, because I don't have push notifications on my LinkedIn, but I'm going to try and just have that here in case. I'm going to have that open in case I get frozen or something like that. All right, so I'm going to be talking from this book, Becoming a Person of Influence by John Maxwell. John Maxwell is like one of the #1 leadership experts in the world. He's written over 70-something books on leadership. This book was written in 1997, so it's older than some of you are. But the actual principles are the same. They're timeless, and that's what we're going to talk about. So this is who I'm certified by, John Maxwell. And he says that leadership is influence, nothing more, nothing less. A lot of people think that leadership is title, leadership is money, leadership is position, but it's really influence. And we're going to go into that much more in depth today. So our goals for today is to help you to better understand influence, the word influence, and how to help you increase your influence with other people. Now, a little bit more about me. Aswin gave me a great introduction. I'm a nurse, and I know some of those letters are like, what is he talking about? But a registered nurse, master's prepared nurse, and various certifications. And I'm now going back to school to get my doctorate. So it's just endless, it seems, but I'm enjoying it by the same token. So let's see, what is influence? Influence is the capacity to have an effect on the character, the development, or the behavior of someone or something, to have an effect on this. You have the power to affect other people's decisions because of their authority, their knowledge, their position, their relationship with other people. And, you know, it's kind of like you can persuade people to do certain things. You can persuade people to pick certain things. That's what influence is. Now here in America, these are considered influencers. These are the Kardashians. Now, a lot of people make fun of them and go, what's their talent? You know, they don't have any talent. Well, their talent is they're influencers, and they are so influential that they've created these huge brands and surpassed like established brands like L'Oreal that took 50 years to build their brand. So, you know, like them, love them, hate them, whatever, you have to say that they're influencers. Here's another influencer, LeBron James is one as well. So when I just typed in the word influencer, this is what came up. Various people, I have no idea who these people are, but they're influencing so many people that they came up first. 2.38 million followers. This Casper Lee person, 7 million followers. Like, what are they doing that are wanting people to follow them? Now, I want you to tell me in the chat, and Aswin, you can monitor this for me. I want to know how many of you can give me a thumbs up in the chat box, or if you know, if you're on this platform here, Snapchat, or if you're on Facebook, just type it in there, yes, no. If you're on Instagram, if you're on Flickr, that's, I don't know if you all know about all those, Tumblr, yes. All right, so I was asking if you all are on these platforms, and if you see me looking over here at my phone, I'm just seeing if Aswin is asking me any other questions or anything. All right, so think about what you're putting on these platforms. Like, what type of post are you putting on these platforms? Because let me tell you something, what you're putting on here, your posts are evergreen. And you never know in the future what it is that you might want to do in your life. You may want to be a political person. You may want to run for office. You might have a really high position that you might get in a few years. And when employers are looking at people who are applying for positions, guess where they go? They go right here, and they look to see what you're posting. So really be cautious of that. I know you can set certain things to privacy where everyone can't see, but you need to have something on social media because everyone is looking for that. All right, so here's my question. Now that we're talking about posting and what's on social media and what are you putting on social media, my question to you is, would you follow you? Would you follow you? Based on what you're putting on the online here when you're posting, would you follow you? That's a really big question, because if you want other people to do it, why would they do it? Would they follow you? Now, if you had asked me this question back when I was your age, like much, much younger, I wouldn't have followed myself because I wasn't always the nicest person. I didn't really care about what people thought. I just said what I wanted to say. I didn't care about people's feelings. And that didn't serve me very well at all. All right, so if you think you're leading and no one is following you, you're simply taking a walk. So think about that. You're taking a walk by yourself. Now, you're either influencing or you're being influenced. That's just the way it is. You're either influencing or you're being influenced. So let's talk about an influencer here. This is my dog, Noni. She had a bad habit of licking the floor. And I don't know why she did that. She wasn't hungry. We fed her. She was very well nourished. But she had a bad habit of licking the floor. So, you know, she was acting like she was kind of lonely. So we decided to get another dog for her to have some company. She influenced this dog, Penny. And guess what Penny started doing? You guessed it. She started licking the floor. She was influenced by Noni. Now, so who do you influence? How do you influence other people? How many people do you influence? When do you influence others? And why do you influence others? These are the questions that I want you to think about as we're talking here today. Where do you do it? Do you do it online? Do you do it at home? Do you do it in your family, in organizations, in your community, in your school? Because remember, you're either influencing or you're being influenced. But few people influence a lot of people. Like those pictures I showed you earlier, that one person, 7.3 million followers, that's one person influencing a lot of people. So people will follow you if they trust you. If they trust you, they will follow you. I'm gonna try to ignore the drawings here. So here's one thing. If you tell somebody something, like if somebody tells you something, right? They tell you something in confidence. The best thing to do is not tell anyone, you know, like my friend, she told me that she was thinking about changing her position and she wanted to come into my department. And I knew they were looking for someone. So I went to my boss and I said, hey, my girlfriend, Jo, she really wants to switch positions and come to your apartment, but, you know, don't say anything yet because she hasn't informed her boss. And she said, oh, you know, don't worry, I won't say anything. But guess what? She said something. And it created a big stink. And then that's when I knew that I couldn't trust my boss anymore. So keeping someone's confidence is really big. Here's some misnomers about leadership though. Some people think, oh, well, if I'm not on top, I can't be leader. When I get to the top, then I'm gonna learn how to lead. Or when I get to the top, everyone's gonna follow me. It's not necessarily so though, because if people aren't following you now, they're not going to follow you when you become on top. So it's about influence. It's not about position. And it's all about others. You know, it's all about what can you do for other people. And the thing about helping other people is that it takes extra time. It takes extra energy. And that's why a lot of people choose not to do it, because it does take extra time and extra energy. But, you know, there was a really famous speaker many, many years ago. He used to always say, I'll see you at the top, Zig Ziglar. You guys can look him up. But one of the things that he said that I absolutely love is that you can achieve anything you want if you help people get what they want. And, you know, without expecting anything in return, too. Just try to help people get what they want, and they'll help you get what you want. It really does work. You know, LeBron says that no matter how great one individual person is, and we know a lot of great ball players, don't we? You know, Michael Jordan, it can go on and on. It really does take a team to win a championship. So one of the ways that we can influence others is by adding value to others. Sharing first, right? Whatever it is that we have, we can share that information, we can share that knowledge, and then you can shine later. All right, so I grew up on a farm, you know, cows, chickens, pigs, hogs, all of that stuff. I'm a country girl from Tennessee. And every Sunday, my mom would have a bag of vegetables that she would pick to take to someone at church every Sunday. And on the way over, the question would always be, who am I going to give these vegetables to this week? And it instilled in us as kids the importance of giving. It doesn't have to be something material, though. It can just be giving of yourself. And I remember as a kid watching those people when they got the vegetables, and you know, they would come back the next week and say, oh my God, those greens were so good, or those beans were so good, or those apples were so good. And it just made my mom feel so great. You know, she never charged anything. She just wanted to share, and it meant so much to people. So give first, ask second, or better yet, don't even ask at all. Just give to give. So in relationships, you can look at it like a bank account. You're either depositing or you are withdrawing. Now, my cousin, she calls my mom every Sunday. She never hears from her during the whole week, but every Sunday she calls her and asks her, hey, are you going to come and get me and pick me up to take me to church? And my mom will say, okay. And she'll go and she'll pick her up. And then when she gets in the car on the way back from church, she'll say, hey, could you drop me by the store and let me pick up Polident or XYZ, whatever it is. And my mom will give her $10. And she's been doing this religiously every week. But my cousin is withdrawing, withdrawing, and withdrawing, and she never deposits. And then one day, you know, my mom has had enough, and she's like, you know, I'm just done. She's milked me dry, you know? So it's all about depositing into relationships instead of withdrawing. If you look at it like a bank account, like how can I add value to you? What can I give you? What can I share with you? So the thing is to lift others up before you go up. One person on this side, one person on that side. Because no one gets to the top by themselves. You know, it takes a lot of people to do that. And I think sometimes when people do get to the top, whatever that means to you, sometimes they forget all these people that helped them get there. So that's really important. And it's very helpful if you remain grateful to those individuals who helped you, and maybe you can help pull them up to the top too. So let's talk a little bit about adding value to others. And we add value to others when we become more valuable as well. So how do we do that? Well, we can compliment people, especially in public. You know, I am a leader. I have 200 and something nurses under me. And I have this motto that says, compliment 80%, critique 20%. So I'm always complimenting the nurses and telling them what a great job they do. And very rarely do I critique anything. And if I do, it's in the most gentle way. And since I have complimented them so much and valued them so much, they take the critique very well and they correct the behavior. Now, this has worked really well for me. I have one of the top performing teams. I have 0 turnover on my team. I have a waiting list of people who want to be on my team. I get emails, you know, pretty frequently asking, do I have any openings? So it works. Trust me, this stuff works. And another group of people that don't get a lot of compliments are elderly people. So I really like to compliment them as well. And maybe people who, you know, might be a little different than how we are, but hey, that's fine too, to compliment them. We nurture people as influencers. You know, if they hurt, you hurt. I know exactly how you feel. I've been there, done that. That's very important for people to feel like you empathize with whatever situation they're going through at the time. We have faith in people. That's another way to increase your influence. being committed to people, loving people and doing things in a spirit of love and lifting people to a higher level than what they are. Seeing, you know, I always can see someone's greatness in them, and I tell them, and they're like, really? I'm like, yeah, I could see you doing this, I could see you doing that. And they're like, oh my God, I never thought about that. Maybe I should try that. Yeah, maybe you should. I think you can do it. Understanding people. You know, like when someone in my circle, or even if you see me on LinkedIn, I don't know if you all have profiles on LinkedIn, but I'm always congratulating people and telling them what a great job they did, and congratulations for this, congratulations for that. And it just works really, really well. But this isn't for ulterior motive. And I want to make sure that I'm really clear about that. It's not because you want someone to think about you in a certain way, or you're trying to get followers. It's just the genuineness of it. Because if you're not authentic with it, people know that, they can feel that. Just, I think we have somebody else. Okay. All right. All right. So it's not about impressing. Okay. Just what I was saying. It's about connecting with people. How do we connect with people? This is so important. All right. So what do we mean by that? By having a positive influence on people, by connecting. It's when you identify with them and relate to them in such a way that it increases your influence with them. Understanding them, you know. People, John Maxwell says, if you were to ask me what's the single most important thing for people to be successful, he would say it's the way you communicate. And if you all don't remember anything else I say today, I really want you to think about how you communicate. This is a flaw that a lot of humans have. And people are often thinking about what they're going to say next. We're going to go into this in some more detail. But just think about, how am I communicating? How am I communicating with my spoken word? How am I communicating with my written word? And what is that saying about me? And is this something that I would be happy to read 5, 10 years later? Because remember, everything that we put on the internet, that we put in an email, is evergreen. Some of you are going to go on to do some amazing things with your life. So be very mindful of what you're posting. All right, so let's talk about some ways that we can connect with other people. All right, so take a look at this. When we look at a conversation and we add it all up to 100%, 55% is what other people see. So like how you see me right now. 38% is the way we say something, not what we say, but the way we say something. You know, my mom used to always say to me, it ain't what you said, it's how you said it. And I was like, what? What do you mean? She said, it ain't what you said, it's how you said it. It was like the tone, the inflection. It's only 7% of what we say. Now, can you believe that? I really didn't believe this was true. And I looked this up in several sources. It's true. Only 7% is what we're saying right here. The rest is what people see and how we say it. I think that's pretty interesting. So think about that going forward with your communication. What you do speaks louder than what you say, says Stephen Curry. All right, so let's talk about when you're talking to people, what that person is thinking at that time. They're wanting to know if you care about them, which we talked about that earlier. Are you going to be able to help them? And can they trust you? Those are the 3 things that they're thinking about when they're having conversations with you. And if you put into practice those things we just talked about, all the answers to these 3 questions is going to be yes. All right, so this is one way not to communicate. And I think this is probably like one of the ruder ways. You know, you see people, they're out, they're having coffee and everybody's on their phone, really not communicating. So here's how we do it. An influencer listens to people, truly, truly listens to people. And I want us to look at it like being on a ladder, okay? Where the L means that we look at the person when they're speaking to us, all right? We're not doing this. when they're speaking to us. They come up to us, you got your phone in your hand. I don't know how bad it is where you are, but here, this is like constantly attached to people. I have to say I'm kind of guilty of that too. Someone comes up to you and they say, hey, Aswin, can I talk to you for a second? You're like, sure, no problem. Yeah, no problem, we can talk. Do you think I really believe that you're interested in what I have to say when you're looking at your phone the whole time? No. But if someone comes up to you and says, hey, Aswin, can I talk to you for a second? And you put your phone in your pocket. Hey, sure, what's up? Looking at the person. Very important to look at the person when they're speaking to you. The next thing is to ask questions. Ask questions after they finished, okay? Let them get through the whole story of whatever it is, then ask a question. One of my favorite questions to ask after someone said something to me, if they're telling me a story or something that happened, or they're upset, or, hey, can I talk to you for a second? This just happened, I don't know what to do. They tell me the whole thing, I'm looking at them, and then I say, is there anything else? And most of the time, they are so taken back by that question. They're like, what? What do you mean, is there anything else? I mean, is there anything else that you want to tell me about that? And some, no, that's it. Oh, that's good. Oh yeah, you know, so-and-so, so-and-so, like that. All right, next thing, don't interrupt. All right, we're talking about the ladder here, LAD. Don't interrupt. Let them get the story out and listen and look. All right, don't change the subject. This is really bad. Someone's pouring their heart out to you about something. Don't change the subject. Let them talk about it. Look interested. And then check your emotions too, right? Because we've all got stuff going on. I know I certainly do as we speak. And sometimes that can kind of block the communication because we're so focused on what's going on in our life that we're not really paying that close attention to what the speaker is saying to us. Sometimes for me, if I'm really distracted or you know, I feel like I'm not going to really be listening 100%, I'll say something like, I really want to hear what you have to tell me. Is it possible to speak to you about this in about 15 minutes? This happened just now, like 15 minutes before I was supposed to get on here. My wife says, can you call the Audi dealer and see if you can get the brakes fixed? And I was like, wait, what? I'm trying to see if I'm connected. You know, it wasn't a good time. Happens like that. So check your emotions and then do responsive listening. You know, my mom always says we get 2 ears and 1 mouth for a reason, right? We're supposed to listen more than we talk. But this is huge because a lot of times people are so used to not being listened to that they just kind of, you know, rush through the story to see if they can get through it and tell you before you interrupt them or before you change the subject. So this is really big. And let me tell you something. If you think about this ladder, just imagining that ladder that I showed you a picture of, the next conversation that you have and you do all those things, it's going to become like, just keep practicing. It's going to become like natural for you. And the next thing you know, more people are going to want to talk to you about certain things because they've established that you listen very well and they can trust you because you're not blabbering what they told you and it didn't go anywhere and they didn't hear it anymore. That is so important when it comes to influence and when it comes to being a leader, because I know all of you are leaders here. You wouldn't be on this call today, 7:30 Saturday night, if you weren't a leader. You wouldn't be a part of this organization. So here's the things that people want to know when you are talking to someone. You want to know what is in that person's heart, like what is really bothering that person, or what is that person really happy about? What is that person's hope? What is their hurt? And how can you help them? So that's like the 4H, you know, what's in the heart, what's their hope, what's their hurt, and how can you help them? And they, you know, leaders, I love this statement, become great leaders because they learn to be great listeners, just like you all are listening right now. Now, here's another thing too, and I think this gets kind of tossed aside a lot, is a lot of times we don't tell people how we feel about them. And then, you know, something might happen and then we don't have the opportunity to, and then we have this guilt. You know, you've heard people say, oh, I wish I'd have had a chance to say this or that. So, you know, be open with how you feel and tell people how you feel about them. This is one of my best friends, Anthony. We've been friends for so many years, and he used to just call my machine, leave a voicemail. I'll let you all read that for a second. Make sure I'm okay with Aswin. Here's my response. Now, let me tell you something. We were friends for so many years. I never thought in a million years that this would be my last text to him. Never thought in a million years. Words can't express how I feel for you. All these years, you've been a constant in my life. You're always there for me. This was my last text to my best friend of over 20 years. He just passed away, you know? And I've saved these texts. They mean the world to me, but I'm so glad he knew how I felt about him, because I told him on a regular basis, and he told me there's nothing wrong with telling people that you love them. There's nothing wrong with telling people that, hey, you know what? I really like you. You're cool. I have fun when I'm around you. Because sometimes in life, tragedy does strike us, doesn't it? Whether we want to be a part of this or not, it happens. People have accidents, people die, people, our friends, their parents get divorced. And the thing is to be there for them. And by be there, I mean, be there. Not, oh, I'm so sorry, let me know what I can do. No. I mean, be there. Aswin, you don't even know this, but my mom just got put on hospice, right? And I had to fly home really quickly a few weeks ago. And I thought I had maybe a week or so. She was pretty bad. And I was staying there 24 hours a day. I was exhausted. I was working from home. I'm in school. I mean, it was a lot. And this lady who she met at the acupuncturist office, of all places, she called and she said, Shannon, I want to come over and relieve you one day for a few hours. You let me know what day you want me to come. And I thought, oh my God, if I could just get out of this house. And so I didn't answer back. I got busy, whatever. She waited a few days. She called again and she said, what day would you like for me to come? And I was like, oh, can you come tomorrow? And so she came and she stayed with my mom for 4 hours. I was able to get out of the house, relax a little bit. She was there, you know? If you have a friend, something's happened, take them a little something to eat, offer to do the laundry, offer to clean the house, offer to wash the car, offer to feed the kids, whatever it is, but just be there. Let me tell you something. People will never, ever forget those gestures. It's so much more than the quick text, hey, let me know what you need. Call me if you need anything, because most of the time people don't call. And I love this saying by the great poet and author, people will forget what you said. They will forget what you did, but they will never forget how you made them feel, which is really, really true. You know, the sky really is the limit when you have influence with others. Your life can just soar beyond, I mean, just beyond anything you ever can imagine if you put these principles into practice. It sounds so simple. It sounds so elementary, but let me tell you something. It works. I've seen it happen in my own life. I really want to thank you all for sticking around today, despite, you know, what was going on with the people drawing on the screen and the noise and everything. My book is coming out, which talks a lot about what we were talking about earlier today. You all can feel free to reach out to me on these platforms. LinkedIn is my primary platform. And I know this is a predominantly young crowd here, but I was telling Aswin at the beginning that, you know, you can take a picture of this screen if you want. Like 30–40% of my connections are from India. And it's been great getting to know so many people in this country. But this isn't just a site for putting up your resume and trying to find a job. Like, you can get work on this site. You can make meaningful connections on this site. You can, it's just over 600 million, I think 6 million people are on this site. So I know it's big in your area. So really think about setting up a profile here. DM me here, the very first one here. And I'll be happy to connect back with you. I'm gonna stop sharing my screen now, Aswin, and let you get back on here. Seeing more people, hopefully that's...
Well, thank you so much. And that was brilliant. That was brilliant. And it was really informative. And of course, as you said, LinkedIn is a brilliant platform, and it's been growing tremendously over the past few years. I'm a marketer myself, so I'm on literally every single social media network, and I try to see what's happening right now. And definitely LinkedIn is one of the main places where the conversation is going. So it's really a great platform for all of us to look into, because of course you get job offers there, you can meet your professors there, you can have really professional connections, but more than that, you can have meaningful conversations and meaningful connections with people probably you might never see in your life from even the other part of the world. But a lot can be done through the virtual world these days. So LinkedIn is a brilliant platform.
It really is. And if you all reach out to me here, make sure you put down influence or something like that. Send me like because I do kind of like, I'm selective in who I connect with. But I definitely would recommend it. I mean, that's how we met, Aswin, it was on this platform. And I have spoken all over the world on this platform. And I also speak, like you were saying earlier, about LGBTQ plus issues a lot as well. So yeah, I'd love to stay in touch with you folks.
So you're getting a lot of good responses to the chat box.
Oh, right, yeah.
Prince is saying amazing and great presentation. Thank you so much, Shannon. Ayodele Jabal says a very interesting lecture. Mufradatul Riyada says amazing, really informative. Thank you, Shannon, appreciate it. Boluwati says this is a great presentation. Lots learned and to be implemented. Absolutely. And Satya says, thank you, Shannon, for informative presentation. Ram says, thank you for this wonderful session.
Oh, thank all of you. Did anyone have any questions about anything that we talked about? I mean, I know you can either unmute yourself or you can put it in the chat. And I know this seems like so simple, but let me tell you something. This stuff is powerful if you do it. People in this country, in this world, are suffering from not being heard. Because everyone is so busy and everyone's doing this, and I don't care quarantine or not quarantine, everybody's into their own thing and people aren't being heard. I'll have conversations with people and I try to just remember the ladder where I look, I lean forward, I move my phone, I give eye contact, I don't interrupt, I ask questions, I listen, I reflect back on the conversation. And you'll know you've done it. This is the key. You'll know you've done it when they say, I enjoyed talking to you so much today. And you realize you didn't say a word. They said everything, and you're like, okay, yeah, you talk. But I mean, but that's how you establish the relationship and grow the relationship and grow the network. And, there's no little people. There isn't. I connect with people who don't have jobs on here. I connect with CEOs. I connect with people who have, entry-level positions. You don't know where those people are going to go. You don't know what they're going to do, right? Those are some really great people. So how many of you all are on LinkedIn? Because I saw where you said except Snapchat and Flickr. Oh, okay, Prince, you're on it. You guys undo your cameras. Because anybody else on LinkedIn?
Satya's giving a thumbs up.
Okay, Satya, okay. Editumbi, are you on LinkedIn? Did I say his name right? Editumbi?
Yes.
On all platforms. Bully Watif is on all platforms. Okay. So Pratik wants to know how I came up with that title for Kindergarten for Leaders. Okay, so I'm going to tell you the real story. It's probably not the story I'm going to tell when I'm promoting the book, but I was laying on the couch one day a few weeks ago. One of my friends had said, you should write a book. And I'm like, about what? Like, about what? And she said, no, you really should. You really should. And so I was like, oh, okay. I never thought about being an author. And one morning I woke up and I had this sentence in my head, and it said, the book should be called Kindergarten for Adults. So for me, when I wake up in the morning, whatever sentence is in my head, I feel like that's God speaking to me or the universe speaking to me. And the title sounded kind of good. I was like, Kindergarten for Adults. I thought, wait a second, it could be a book on leadership, kind of like the book I talked about, but a more updated version with updated stories. So that's how I came up with Kindergarten for Leaders. And basically what it is pretty much kind of like what you heard today, but it's a short read. It's 9 tips for grown-up success, but it talks about just things that we learn in kindergarten. I told my mom, hey, I'm going to write this book. It's called Kindergarten for Leaders. And she said, well, most people skip kindergarten, went straight to first grade. And I was like, well, that's not the answer I was expecting from her, but then I started asking around, and I realized that a lot of people did skip kindergarten. And, in kindergarten here in America, this is where we learn basic things of saying thank you and please and I'm sorry and sharing, and that's what the book talks about. And it's like illustrated like a kid's book. When you open it up, it's really cute. So if you all connect with me here and give me your email, I'll let you know when it comes out. And if you could give me a review on Amazon, that would be great. Because they don't
No,
take you seriously if you don't have reviews. So that's how I came up with that title, Pratik. Yeah. Also,
oh,
Vera
we've
is on LinkedIn. Ayodel is on LinkedIn. Oh, Mufradatul is already connected with me. Okay.
there are also a couple of questions for you there. The first one is from Boluwatise. He's asking, how important is it for an organization or a community to have an influential person?
Oh, it's everything. That could be you. That could be you, because you can grow the organization. You could have a positive impact on the organization. If you put those principles into practice, what I talked about today, you will be the influencer in that organization. I guarantee you. People just have to find out.
Well, that's so true.
Yeah.
And another question from Mufradatul Ziada. She's saying, Shannon, what are the things that can make us as a foreigner, or for me as an Indonesian, to want to have a career in New York? What are the things in your opinion that I should have and increase, or how to influence the institution there to have me as their employee?
Okay. Okay. So that's quite a few questions. So one of the things about LinkedIn is adding value, right? Not asking for anything, not saying, hey, can I come to America and work at your company? You're just adding value over and over and over again. Whatever it is that you're good at, that's what you want to post about. And then as you start to develop your connections, you're going to develop connections with people here in New York. And they're going to start to see your post and say, hey, this person is really good with whatever your specialty is. I don't care if you're an expert in Excel worksheets, post about that. Hey, here's a tip on how to do tables, and here's a tip on how to do, I don't know, because I'm not good on Excel, but like simple things like that. And they're going, oh my goodness, this person really knows a lot about Excel. We need someone on Excel. Let's see if we can reach out to them. Because there's been people who have done that, who have found jobs here. And sometimes they don't even have to come here, but they still can work here like remotely. So it's quite possible. Consistently adding value on the platform and not asking and not selling, that's the secret.
Oh, that's true, because we think that what we have is not enough, but who are we to judge ourselves? You never know what the other person wants, or what that organization that you really want to get into wants. So you might be a perfect fit, but you might be holding yourself back from applying, or thinking that you're not good enough for them. But no, you should just execute and just post whatever that you feel or whatever you're good at.
Yeah. And all of you are good at something. You are. All of you have talent in something. I mean, my niche market is the like LGBT things. You can see this flag behind me. Transgender things, because I root for stigmatized populations, and the servant leadership that we talked about today. So, and these are all relatively new skills for me. I mean, I've only been doing this for a few years. I've been a nurse for forever. So even though you might be kind of new at it, it doesn't mean that you're not good at it and that you can't add value to someone else.
And we have another question from Ram. He's asking, can an extremely introverted person influence?
Yes, I mean, if you're very introverted, you know, and maybe you're probably not introverted in all areas of your life. You know, maybe you're introverted when it comes to social settings, but you're not when it comes to social media settings or when you're around certain friends. So you still can. There's multiple ways to do it. So yeah, absolutely. You could also read How to Win Friends and Influence People. Oh yeah, you can definitely read that book. I think, you know, you can probably get it on Kindle. It's good. You know, it's really good.
So thank you so much, Shannon. And do you have anything else that you want to share about the LGBTQ community, particularly because, as you said, that's your niche and you have a lot of experience working with such individuals. So, what
Well,
would your message be?
well, I'm a part of this community, right? You all heard me reference my wife earlier, and I'm out, and I'm out across the platform too. You know, that wasn't something that I like said, oh, I'm going to be the out person on LinkedIn, but there's a lot of work that still needs to be done in this area as far as accepting people who may be different from us, you know. People within this population don't want anything different than anyone else. They just want to be the best expressions of who they are and be allowed to be that. And that's all we want here as well. So I talk to a lot of organizations on how to have inclusive environments with this population, because despite what you might think, you probably know someone who is a part of this population. Probably.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And also, being an LGBTQ person in the United States is different from being uh, such a person in India or Indonesia or some of the developing countries. So, what would you want to say to those people living in countries where they're still not accepted as a basic part of the society?
Yeah, that's a big problem, because in some of the other countries, they're murdered. You know, they really can't be out. We have quite a bit of transgender murders here in the United States. My wife's not out where she works. I am. So it's good and it's not good, you know. I guess it just depends on your neck of the woods where you live. I live in New York. It's pretty much accepted. I probably wouldn't go home to Tennessee because it's not that much accepted. So I wouldn't say to flaunt that to the point of putting yourself in danger. But, you know, I can't tell you how many LGBT people have connected with me on the platform that are closeted, but we still have a great relationship. So, you know, I would just say to try and find some like-minded people, some allies or people who are part of the population that you can communicate with and connect with. They're there. They are, for sure. But don't put yourself in danger. It's
Absolutely.
not worth it.
I hope everything becomes easier uh, in the future
Yeah,
and
me
people become
too.
more inclusive and open. And thank
Yeah.
you for being a source of support for all those people that you meet online and even in person. It's such a great work that you're doing, and we're honored to have you today here. Now, I would
I'm
like to
honored to be here.
thank you, thank you. I'd like to invite Aditumbi to say a few words.
Let's see, I need to unmute him. Hang on a second. Can I? Are you back to being host? Oh, there we go.
Hello.
Hello.
I will first of all have to appreciate Shannon for joining us, for honoring our invite. And, it was quite an interesting one. It was so educative, and there was a lot of information shared. Our expectations was met, and
Oh, good.
so
Good.
yeah. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. You know, when I was going to reach out, when I was first going to reach out to you, and I had to doubt, like, should I reach out to her? Should I not? Should I not? I had those doubt, but I just had to go with, I want to reach out to her. I think she should be her next guest, and in our leadership and mentorship forum of our organization. And we appreciate you for honoring that. And to every other person that was part of this, thank you very, very much. And one of the important things of this organization is to bring people together, so we can educate ourselves, so we can educate our world, educate the youth in our world, so we can be more useful, so we can influence our world more. That is the main purpose of this organization. And thanks to everyone. Let us do more. There's a lot out there to be achieved. There's a lot out there. The world needs us. And what I believe the world needs us, if we don't stand up to do this, no one will do it. It is our duty. And I am happy to have everyone here today. And thanks to Shannon. Thanks to everyone that was part of this. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Aditombi. So I think that concludes our wonderful presentation today. Thanks once again, Shannon, and to everyone who attended. And hopefully we'll meet soon together in the future in such a platform again with a different topic, of course. And thank you, Shannon, once again. It's been a pleasure.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.